but the great pleasure now to introduce our next speaker, Katie Patterson. Katie's practice is cross-medium with an emphasis on nature, ecology, geology, and also cosmology. We met for the first time in her installation Light Bulb to Simulate Moonlight. That's a piece from about 3 years ago. Recent artworks include Earth, Moon, Earth, Moonlight Sonata reflected from the surface of the moon, and as well, actually, a transmission of Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata to the moon, back and forth. All the Dead Stars is in 2009, a large map documenting the locations of 27,000 long-gone stars, all known to humanity. Katie has participated in numerous group shows, Museum of Modern Art in Oxford, the Power Plant in Toronto, Performa 09 in New York, and also Alto Modern at Tate Britain in 2009. She's currently artist in residence in UCL's Astrophysics Group. A very warm welcome to Katie Patterson.
Okay, first of all, just a quick thank you for asking me to participate in this wonderful event. I'm just going to talk really briefly about some of my works to kind of situate them amongst the constellation of ideas that we've all been discussing over these last few days, and then I'm going to create something live in the space. So this first piece is Vatnajökull, the Sound of. I staged a kind of intimate encounter with a glacier in Iceland. I put a microphone deep inside this glacial lagoon, and people all over the world could dial a number and listen live to its melting, one at a time. I was thinking about creating and collapsing distances and also time, the geological time of the ancient glacier and the human time of a phone call. And people from 50 countries called to listen to this fragmented landscape. In this next piece, I reflected Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata from the moon using a kind of radio transmission called Earth, Moon, Earth Radio. The score was translated into Morse code, bounced from the moon, and on its 500,000-mile journey from the Earth to the moon and back, the sonata became fractured through space and time and by the craters on the lunar surface. Now it plays with its new missing notes and chords on a self-playing digital piano. I also made these records of glacial ice that play the sounds of themselves, which are actually embedded into the ice itself. They played out this dissolving landscape until it melted completely. This is a map of just under 27,000 dead stars, all the dead stars that have ever been recorded and observed by humankind. It's very large, it's 3 by 2 meters, and it's etched onto anodized aluminium. It shows every star that we've seen exploding, which is left behind a dusty cloud or disappeared into a black hole. The map describes not the view out from Earth, but something similar to the longitude and latitude of Earth, but extended out into space. There's no edge, there's no boundary. It shows only the dead stars that we've been able to see. If it were accurate, it would be completely covered as a star dies every 5 seconds somewhere in the universe. We might attempt to map the surface of the entire Earth, but when I look above my head, I'm comforted by the impossibility of ever being able to know or represent the entire cosmos. History of Darkness is, in a sense, another form of mapping the universe. It's a slide archive of thousands of images of darkness from throughout the cosmos, showing different areas of darkness from disparate times and places spanning billions of years. Some 1,000 light years from Earth, some 1 billion light years or more. The furthest away image is from a time where the first light was beginning to form. Each slide is handwritten with its distance from Earth and arranged from 1 to infinity. It will be a lifelong project, I believe that there's never really a way to represent, see, or know all of the darkness in the universe. So this is a kind of infinite and also futile journey to try and capture it on a human scale and make it an entity. One of these images represents an area in space about the size of a grain of sand held out in your finger. So each image really is a pinpoint of darkness. Which brings us to inside this desert lies a tiny grain of sand. I took a grain of sand from the Sahara Desert and then had it chiseled down using special techniques in nanotechnology to become almost nothing, just a few atoms across, but yet still a grain of sand. I then took it back to the desert and scattered it, so the tides and the winds of the sands would carry it away, its minute size becoming even more emphasized by the scale of this immense place. And lastly, this is Streetlight Storm. I made the lights on a pier flicker in time with lightning storms happening live in different parts of the world. So lightning signals from different places were received by this antennae on the pier and then translated into light. So this work has taken a few different manifestations on the pier, on streetlights and back streets, and in people's homes. So for this event right now, we'll see another manifestation. I've installed an antennae on a field on the outskirts of Cambridge, and right now it's receiving lightning signals from as far away as approximately the North Pole to North Africa. They're now being relayed to this room, and what you'll now see is this light echoed through the auditorium lights. So it will last about 10 minutes or less. Thank you.